All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at Google Classroom. And to get to Google Classroom, we type in classroom.google.com. And when we hit enter, it's going to take me to a page like this. Now, if you have not set anything up, you are not going to have anything in here. Now, these are classes that I have already started. Some of the teachers have shared their classes with me, so I can help them with their Google Classroom and getting them started. And then I am also a student in a couple classes, and these are for the iTech. So even though you're set up as a teacher, you can still join other classes and be a student in those classes to learn as well. But let's go ahead and set up our first classroom. So up here on the top right, there is a plus, and that's going to be to either join a class or create a class. Now, the students, when they first go to Google Classroom and go to classroom.google.com, they will have an option of choosing student or teacher. Make sure they click student so that they cannot create their own class. And when you go there, make sure that if it asks you, you click on teacher. Otherwise, you will not be able to create a class. You will only be able to join a class. So let's go ahead and create a class. And so once we click on that, it's just going to ask us the name. So I'm going to just do practice classroom. If you want to add a section, so if you teach the same class, several times, you could do, 7 o'clock class or, section 1, section 2, however you want to set it up. And then if you want to put the subject in there, so let's just say we're doing math and, math department, they have some options in there, but you can do it however you want. You don't have to add this. This is just an option of, something that you can add to it. So once you are ready, click create. All right, and so it is going to put your name and picture at the top, and when the students sign in, they're going to see something very similar to this, so they're going to know who the teacher is, and we'll get to showing you a little bit. If you want to add another teacher, it'll put their name up there as well. Now, so once we have done that, it sets up the classroom for you. There's not a whole lot to do for you for setup. And so now the stream, this section is where you're going to post your assignments. You can put announcements and different things for your students. Under students, this is where it will list all of your students. And the easiest way that I have found to add your students to the class is to have them type in this class code. So they, when they're on that home page, they would click that plus and they would click join class, and then they would type in this class code. And as soon as they type it in and click join, it's going to automatically start listing those students once they have joined your class. And that way you don't have to go through and type in all of their email addresses or anything like that. You can just have them type this in and it'll put them into your class. Now, once you have students in this class, you can change this ahead of time. Students can post and comment, students can only comment, or only teacher can post or comment. So this is going to be important if you have students, posting inappropriate things or just posting to be posting because they want to, put things on their classroom. So you can, restrict them from being able to post certain things. And that's how you want to set up your classroom. But the biggest thing is just setting the expectations at the beginning and making sure that they know, what they should be posting or shouldn't be posting. And it's good to give them the ability to do those things and make sure that they understand the responsibility of that. Now, once your students are in here, you can put a check next to their name and the actions here. It will give you the ability to mute that student where they cannot post anything. You can remove the student from the class if they're, if they moved away, you can remove them, or, for whatever reason, you need to remove that student. And there's a couple other options that you can, edit, with those students depending on what you need to do with that specific student. And then if we go to the About tab, this is just some of that information that you filled out to begin with. If you want to put the room number that you're in, you don't have to do these things. You just have to have a name for your class, essentially. Now, down here, you can add class materials. If you want to add a specific website, so let's say BrainPop, and now I need to get the specific link to BrainPop. And so when I search it, and so now I would just copy this and then go back, and I would click on link, and I paste, and then click add link. And so now I have BrainPop posted there. So anytime my students need to get to BrainPop, they can come to this tab and they can just click that link and it'll take them to BrainPop. So instead of, adding it to every, assignment, you can just say, go to BrainPop and watch this video. But sometimes it is easier to copy the specific link to a video and put it in that lesson. So that way they go directly to it and they don't have to search for something. But if you want to have this available for them to get to later on, you can do that. And, one thing that might be good to have here is the Symbaloo page. And so if I go to my website, at the bottom, I have the Symbaloo page and I can click on it. So then what I can do is I can copy that link and I can put it on my resources here. And so now the students are able to get to that Symbaloo page anytime that they want to. So a couple different, options of things that you can do, but any specific links that your students are going to be using very often, you can put a link to them here. So that way it's easy for them to get to those resources. And you can actually put more than one link under Symbaloo. So if there is, a specific thing that you want to put on there, you can put a YouTube video, add something from your drive, an attachment, or other links. Just depending on what resources you want to make available to your students, you can put those here. And then here I talked about, inviting a teacher. So if I want to invite another teacher, and so if I, go to my contacts, I can, just scroll down and choose one of them, or I can search for a specific contact and I can make them a teacher on this class. And so that way it would list both of you up here. You can both edit, add things to the class, do whatever you need to make it available for the students. So if you're team teaching, you may want to share it with your team teacher, or if you just want someone else to be able to see it and check, some of the stuff that you're adding for your students. So let's go back to the stream tab. And so right now, all right, it says this is just kind of the basic thing that's going to be there when you log in. But once you go down here and just hover over the plus, it's going to give you an option to create an announcement, create an assignment, create a question, or reuse a post. And so if you had posted something, at the beginning of the year and it's halfway through the year and you want to reuse the same thing, you can reuse that post and bring it back to the top, because your stream is like your Facebook post. The most recent is going to be at the top. So, as you post more assignments, the older ones get pushed farther down and may be harder for the students to find them. So if you want to bring it back to the top, you can reuse that post. So let's start with create an announcement. So we create an announcement. And so up here at the top, and you can do this for the assignments as well, you can post to as many classrooms at the same time as you want. So, I have science here. So Mr. Hernandez, he teaches his class and Ms. Smith's class. So we could check both of those, and whatever we create, it can go to both of those classes at the same time. So you don't have to recreate the same assignment a couple times. Now, this is just an announcement, so there's not going to be something that the students turn in. It's just going to be information. So let's say, welcome to Google Classroom. This is where you find all right, and just something, whatever you want to. And now you can add topics to it as well. And now since I just created, I don't have any topics, so let's create a topic, and let's just say introduction. And so you can, if you want to give it, multiplication, subtraction, word problems, whatever, and that'll make it a little bit easier for the students to find. And then I can add resources, a link, a YouTube video, something from my Google Drive, and I can attach something. And now if I'm not ready to post this just yet, I can save it as a draft and it'll be at the top, and I can come back and edit that later. Or I can schedule it to be posted at a specific time. So that way, I'm ready and I have everything in there, but I just don't want to make it available for the students quite yet. So I can schedule it to be posted at a specific date and time. So that way it's only available once you want it ready for the students. And if you want it available right now, we can just click post. And so it goes and posts it. And you can see it has introduction here. And then over here on my topics, it has introduction. So it'll make it a little bit easier for students to find specific topics. Like I said, if they get pushed down in the stream, they can always go back to those topics and they can click on it here and it'll find those specific assignments for the students. Now, once I have posted that other, basic one goes away, and this is the only thing that is posted. And so I have my introduction for my students. Now let's go ahead and take a look at an assignment. So if I want to create an assignment, and let's say we're doing multiplication. And so now our directions or our instructions, this is going to be, how you tell your students what they're going to do. Now, let's choose a due date. So, today's the 30th. We don't want to make it quite due tomorrow. So let's say Tuesday. And then if you want to put a specific time that it's actually due, you can do that as well. And then the topic. So we have introduction, and then we can create a topic for multiplication. Now, before I put my instructions, I may want to know what I'm actually putting in here. So let's say I want to put a YouTube video. So when I click on that, I can just search it, or if I already have a video picked out and I have the link, I can paste it here. But if I just search multiplication, it's going to pull up all these different videos. And I can go ahead and watch that video to see if it's something that I want to use or not. And it's going to go through and play that video.
Hi, welcome to Math Anthem.
Now, if I decide that's the one that I want, I click on it. It has the blue line around it, and then I click add. And so there it is on my assignment. Now, I don't want to just have them watch a video for an assignment. I need to have them do something. So I may want to add something from Drive. And so if I click on Drive, and so let's go to pull up something I did for Mr. Hernandez. And so let's see, we have some addition and subtraction word problems. Now, I don't have anything for multiplication already on here, but I can add something just as an example for what the students would be doing. And so we have a couple different things here that the students have done. And just so you can get an idea, so these are Google drawings that the students have done. And then there was, a Google document where the students were, doing addition and subtraction word problems. So if we add that document, so now this is going to be the assignment for the students. So let's start our instructions. So number 1, watch the multiplication video. Number 2, complete the, now I'm going to say multiplication, but even though it's not titled multiplication document assignment. And then when they're done, let's say, write your exit ticket, what you learned. And what I have been doing with some of the classes is creating a Padlet, and we're not going to go over that in this training, but Padlet is pretty easy to create. So if you want to do that, just ask me about it, and we can show you how to add a Padlet to this, and the students would go and post their exit ticket, what they learned from this lesson. So I have my directions, I have my resources added. Now this Google document, right now it says students can view file. So all it's going to do is make it available for the students to view this document, and then they would have to create their own. But since I already have all of my questions typed in this document, I don't want them to create their own. What I want to do is I want to make a copy for each student. And so when I select this, as soon as I assign this, every student will have their own copy of this exact assignment. So it has the questions in there, and all they have to do is type in their answer. And that way, the students are able to see those questions, they complete the assignment, and then they're able to turn it back into you. Another way to do it would be students can edit that file. Now, you only want to do that if you want all of the students working on the exact same file. Because if it says students can edit, when they open it up, they're going to be able to start editing. And you should have seen that with other documents where other teachers can edit the same document at the same time. We don't want all the students working on the same assignment on the same document unless it is something where they're writing a story together or they're working together. But you don't want to do that normally with your whole class. So what you're going to do is make a copy for each student so they have their own document they can work on. So now once we have our assignment created, same thing as before, and I didn't mean to click schedule. And apparently it just went to assigning right away. So, but that's okay. But it had the same options as before where we could assign, we could save draft, or we could schedule. And apparently I accidentally clicked twice, but so it assigned it to the students, and that's okay. So we have our assignment, and this is exactly what the students, well, it's not quite exactly what the students are going to see. They're going to see multiplication, and it's going to have this video, and then so when they open it up, this document is going to be just a little bit lower, and it's going to have their name at the end because it will have created that copy for those students. So once they click and open it, it's going to be their copy. It'll already be named with this title and then their name at the end. So that way, when they turn it in, you know exactly which student it is and who completed that assignment. So let's go back. So we have our stream. So we have our announcement which gets pushed down. We have our assignment here created, ready for our students, and they can go ahead and start working on that assignment. Now here, since I don't have any students in my class, it does not tell me how many are not done. Well, it says 0 because I don't have anyone in the class. If I have 23 students, this will say 23. Once they submit it, this will start counting down, this will start counting up. And that's good so you can see exactly who has completed it. And so now when I go to, it's going to show my student work. And so here it's going to have all of my students listed over here. And then what I can do is click on theirs. It's going to show me that student's work. And then I can go through and start putting grades in for those students. And so it makes it real easy to grade the assignments. And then you can also return this back to the students if you want them to go back and edit something or fix it because they did not complete it or they did something wrong. You can send it back to that student so they can fix their work. So once you have created your assignment, you've assigned it to your students, and they have started working, you have the beginning of your Google Classroom. Now, in the other videos, we will go over how to create these assignments like Google Docs, Google Drawings, things like that, and things to add to your classroom. But right now, you have your classroom created and you are ready to get started.